Alright, best games of the year. Let's do this. Look, I couldn't play everything this year, so this is just out of the stuff I spent time with. Gaming didn't exactly have the best go of it. We're still in the middle of loot boxes and battle royales, though single player games did start to make a comeback, so that's good. Maybe publishers are finally realizing that maybe well-crafted stories and motivation for gameplay are preferable to 12-year-olds calling each other queers because their mom made them dinosaur chicken nuggets but forgot the Szechuan sauce. Everything is terrible. But here's 5 reasons why that may not be true. Let's do this.
Number 5. Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Trust me, I see the irony in me complaining about battle royales and the lack of story-based experiences, then putting this on the list. But in a year chock full of Fortnite ripoffs, this was probably the best one. Mostly because it felt like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, but like, good. The Call of Duty formula was something I was over, but putting it all on a larger map and adding vehicles was a nice change of pace. Playing with friends is a blast. Having one guy drive the car while you're in the back shooting at the squad tailing you is some of the most fun you'll have this year. Split-screen co-op is something I thought games forgot about, but it's here and it only adds to the experience. I'm sure this will all be stale by the next title, but for now, Call of Duty is holding my attention again. Number 4. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Okay, when I made this an honorable mention on my E3 list, I said something about Nintendo not trying anything new. And that wasn't strictly speaking true. There's some new stuff in this one. Spirits were hard to understand at first, but it's nice to have power-ups and buffs based around supporting characters from a bunch of different games. Am I still mad that Waluigi is only an assist trophy? Yes. But luckily the game is fun enough to distract me from that. The animation is slick and the sheer amount of characters and stages is jaw-dropping. The idea of having to unlock most of the roster turned me off at first, but I started to realize that it gave me incentive to keep playing. Clever, Nintendo. Very clever. Goofing on my friends as Duck Hunt and Princess Daisy was hilarious. Seriously, Duck Hunt isn't that bad. Number 3. Far Cry 5. Whew, okay, now we're getting to the real gold. This was a big surprise for me. I heard the Far Cry games were good, but this one is honestly awesome. The gameplay is fun, and as serious as the story can get, throwing baseball bats and shovels at a pack of rednecks will never not be entertaining. This is a game where jumping out of a helicopter, wingsuiting over a mountain, shooting a guy with an explosive arrow, and blasting the pilot out of an attack plane with your trusty sniper rifle is just as fun as fishing. And that's all a good thing. The story here is awesome too. The characters are all varying degrees of interesting, especially the main villain. The ending, no matter how you play, is a downer. It gave me chills, and I like the idea of the story of this world just ending there. Not putting it any higher on the list though, because that was all undermined by Ubisoft making a direct sequel in the post-apocalypse. I thought this was an anthology series. Okay, whatever, this one is still good. Number 2, God of War. This game kicks ass. Like seriously, that's all. Okay, fine, it's not just the cool combat animation that makes this one good. It's actually a really good character drama about a father and his son. In between that though, you can beat a troll to death with its own weapon and rip zombies in half with your bare hands. Sorry, Draugr or whatever you call him. Kratos seems to want nothing to do with the plot of this game besides spreading his wife's ashes, but puts real passion into it when things do conspire to hunt him or his kid. I don't know, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. This is probably the best story on the list. It's well-paced and has real emotional moments, and understands that not everything needs to be action to keep our attention. The only unfortunate thing about it is that the boss fights are so awesome, but they're saving the really cool gods for the sequel. And the game is still badass, I can't really complain. And finally, number 1. Spiderman PS4. On this episode of Nick is a PS4 fanboy, watch as he struggles to add more praise to a game that he has already made several videos on. What the hell else were you expecting? Shut up. This game kicks ass in a year that was already great for the web slinger. To say this is the best adaptation of Spider-Man isn't that controversial of a statement. It's definitely the most faithful besides maybe the 90s cartoon. I loved this Peter Parker, who actually faces consequences and feels genuine empathy for the people of his city. He really cares. He's nice to everyone. The game takes its time to establish a feel for him. There's that whole mission where you have to go dumpster diving because you got evicted from your apartment. This is the best version of Dr. Octopus I've ever seen. Just want to throw that out there because the writing in this game is really stellar. But the gameplay is nothing short of astonishing. The punches and kicks land and hit with finesse you haven't seen this side of the top 40. You swing through the city faster and with more grace than a blue and red paper airplane. It all plays so well that I was considering jumping off of a building, Miles Morales style. Now this game inspired me to make my Halloween costume from scratch. It's truly an inspiring experience. Best superhero game since Arkham City, and I can't wait for the sequel. Seriously though, make a Daredevil game. That's like the most perfect idea in the world for like an Assassin's Creed type stealth game. Okay, that was my list. Post your favorites down in the comments. I'm gonna see a lot of that game, and that's fine. I'm glad if you like it. It's been a good year for the channel, guys. Here's to 2019 and Devil May Cry 5 not sucking.